Amazfit's a company I've worked with for a few years now, and they make a wide range of different wearables, from smart rings to watches, and now even a strap. One thing that's always stood out for me with Amazfit is the quality of products, the range of products, and the just usability. They're really easy to use. So I've got two watches here today. I want to tell you a little bit about both of them, see which one of these is right for you, so stick around. Before we get into much about these watches, I do want to let you know that Amazfit did send me both of these watches for testing and review purposes. However, they'll get no input on the content of this video, nor will they get to see it before you do. So with that out of the way, let's move on. Hi, I'm Chris with Gadgets and Gravel. So I've been wearing smartwatches for the better part of a decade now, and I've seen a wide range of products come and go. So everything from Android Wear to Wear OS now, to Watch OS from Apple, to other products, Tizen from Samsung back in the day. So we've got a whole range of products. But one thing that's starting to come out lately is our watches that don't use any of the big name operating systems. And Amazfit is one of those. So they use an operating system called Zepp OS. It's an in-house system that runs on all of its watches, and it has improved greatly over the last 18 months or so, to the point now where I don't see a reason why you would buy a watch from Apple or a Google Watch or Samsung or something like that, because you're going to get much better battery life, you're going to get more features, more functions, and a wider range of devices and prices than you would from those other brands. So today I've got the Amazfit BIP 6 and the Amazfit Active 2 here today, and let's look at the two differences between these two watches, see which one might be better for you, because we do have a difference in price other than just style. So let's see which one's best for you. All right, let's kick things off with the BIP 6. So with this, you get a 1.97 inch AMOLED display. And I'm going to put all the specs up here on the side so you can kind of pause it and check it out if you want to refresh that information. But like I said, you get a 1.97 inch, almost a 2-inch display. It is an AMOLED display. So what that means, you're going to get great blacks. So really deep blacks there and great colors. So it makes things a lot easier to read, whether it's a text message or the watch face or your workout stats or something like that. So that's really helpful in that sense. And with that, you get 2000 nits brightness. So this watch is pretty easy to see outdoors. I didn't have too many problems with it as far as visibility when I'm outside. So it does a good job covering that. One of the things with this watch, so at $80, like I said, this is an $80 watch. So with that, there are gonna be some compromises, but for 80 bucks, you're getting a heck of a lot of watch for that. One of the compromises you're getting here is the cover for the display. It's a tempered glass. So it is a curved 2.5D tempered glass. So it isn't gonna have the durability that some other like sapphire crystals, or if you've ever heard of Gorilla Glass, things like that. So that's something to keep in mind. However, I've been wearing this thing for about a month now, and I've had no issues with it. Like, I've worn it outside, worked outside, and all sorts of things. No problems with durability. Speaking of durability, you've got an aluminum frame with a fiber reinforced polymer casing. You get 2 buttons on the side. You get a microphone and a speaker with it. On the back side, you have all your fitness tracking sensors. So you've got the biocharge sensor, which means they're gonna be tracking all of the things you would want to have tracked. You get your heart rate, your blood oxygen level, your heart rate variability. You've got VO2 max. You've got, of course, your steps. It does sleep tracking, all of that stuff, stress monitoring, all those kinds of things are gonna come with this watch. It does have 140 workouts that it can track for you. So some of those will be automatic, which can be things like running and biking and things like that. But the rest of them, you go and select your workout and it'll track it all for you. So it does a really great job with that. I've used this to track runs. I've gone on, I've played volleyball, I've played basketball with it on. It does a great job tracking all that stuff with no problems. The battery is going to get you up to 14 days of use. So that's going to be based on what sensors you have on and what you're doing with it. So if you're using a lot of GPS for tracking runs, your battery's going to be a little bit less than you would if you had it off. How frequently you're having it check your heart rate and blood oxygen. So those things are all going to come into play with that. But I'm typically averaging right around, I would say close to 10 days with it, 7 to 10 days, depending on the week. But I mean, that's pretty great. I don't have to worry about charging this thing up, and that's awesome. You do get music controls with it. So if you're listening to stuff on your phone, you can control it with your watch. This does have Bluetooth, so you can connect to your phone or connect directly to headphones with this and load and play music from this watch directly to your earbuds, which is kind of nice. Outside of that, it's a pretty simple watch. There's not a ton going on to it as far as design. It's the kind of classic, what we're getting now called classic, rectangular kind of shape here. That's pretty much it. Great watch. We'll go into the Active 2 and talk a little bit about that, and then we'll go into what you get with both these watches that crosses between the two. Stick around. The Active 2. So this one is a round watch, but they do have an optional square. So if you prefer the rectangular watch, you can pick that up. This watch comes in a little bit more expensive, so you're going to catch this one at $80 or $100. Sorry, other one was 80. BIP 6 is 80. Active 2 is $100, so $20 difference. What are you getting with that? So you do get a more durable case. So you do get a stainless steel case with this. It has the same 2.5D tempered glass. However, they do make a premium version of the Active 2 where you can get, it's still a stainless steel case. However, you get a more durable sapphire glass cover on it, so it's gonna make it a little more durable. It also will come with a leather band as well as a silicone band, whereas the standard only comes with silicone. So like I said, steel casing, fiber reinforced framing. You get 2 buttons and a microphone, just like on the BIP 6. You've got the same heart rate sensors on the back for tracking your health and everything. The watch itself does have some differences, so you're going to be able to track more workouts with this, whereas the BIP 6 is able to track a whole bunch of workouts. This one's going to get you a few more at 160 rather than 140. It also has a few more sensors and different things within the software for tracking different health metrics. So this one has got a lot of focus on being able to track menstrual cycles. And then also they've partnered with a company called Wild AI, which is a company that does a lot of work with women's health and tracking and fitness in that aspect. So this actually can partner with that and link the two platforms together, so you can actually track that information simultaneously. So the information that your watch is capturing, you can actually have it shared with Wild AI to give you more insight into your health and menstrual cycles and things of that nature for women. So that's quite helpful in that sense. Do want to note though, however, my wife has been wearing this mostly. I wore this about 2 weeks just to kind of get my thoughts on it, and she's been wearing it to do some more tracking since some of the features are more geared towards women. We did have issues trying to get it to connect to Wild AI. We never were able to actually get that to work. I don't know if it was a glitch at the time. We tried a couple different times over about a week's period. Never quite got to link up. So take that for what it's worth, but that is something worth being aware of. Outside of that, the watch itself is largely the same as the BIP 6 as far as the features and things you have on the physical watch itself. The design, obviously this is round, but like I said, you can get it square. You've got the steel casing, but outside of this, the Active 6 has been a great watch. With this one, you're gonna get up to 10 days of battery use since it is a slightly smaller watch. With that, I was averaging probably 5 to a week. My wife's getting around a week to 10 days with it. It still has the same GPS. You get Bluetooth 5.2, low energy, Wi-Fi on both watches. You have a slightly smaller display on this as it is a smaller watch, but otherwise largely the same in terms of design. But let's get into some of the comparison between the two watches a little bit deeper and see which can be a better fit for you. As I mentioned, the BIP 6 and the Active 2 both run Amazfit's in-house operating system, which is Zepp OS. Both of them also have Zepp Flow, which is a really cool, their AI assistant. So you can use it on device and it does work offline also, which is really, really great. That's one of the features I think is the most standout about that. But you can use it to control different functions of the watch. You can set alarms, you can set calendar reminders, you can use it to do voice to text. All that stuff works on this watch and it works great. It's one of those things I think that Amazfit and Zepp has done a really great job of in the last 18 months is really kind of modernizing the operating system, the software, to make it so it can be really, I guess, a full-fledged smartwatch. Not that it wasn't before, but the improvements that it's made in the app store that they have for this, because you can download some different apps. While you're not going to have some of the more well-known or popular apps you may be thinking of, like, you know, gonna have Google Maps or Uber or things like that, but it can connect to apps that can help you with some of those functions. And it does have some great name brand apps on it as well, if that's something you're looking for. But they do have an app store for it. But honestly, most of the apps I don't really use. I'm not an apps on my watch type of person. I just want to make sure I get my notifications when I need them, and this does a great job of that. These both have access to the Zepp Coach. So with that, I'm gonna put sorry, I should have said this a long time ago. I'm gonna put the screenshot over here, a screen recording over here, so I can kind of show you the app a little bit. So in the app, you do have access to all of your health metrics as you would expect on the homepage. So you can see what your current steps are, you can check your sleep, you can check all of that stuff on the homepage. It's gonna give you insights into your heart rate, your blood oxygen levels, and things of that nature. So you got that there. You can go in to see Zepp Coach. So that's something that Zepp has been working on. Is what it is kind of your personal AI assistant, coach, as you will. So it's going to be going through, and you can kind of go through and answer some questions about what your goals are, and it will kind of develop a training plan for you as far as when to work out, health, and things like that, because you can track all of that within this. Amazfit does also, they launched back in January at CES, which I'll link a video to that if you want to find out a little bit more about what happened at CES. But they launched a new feature where you can take pictures of your food, and AI will help to determine what it is and then what the nutrients are to help you track that, make it a little bit easier. I have a little more time to dig into that, so I can't get too much into how well that is or isn't working, but I'll try and report back on that later. But the app, so you can also get into there, like I was talking about the app store. So on the devices, you can go through and check out all the apps that are available on the store, download them to your watch, keep them updated, all that through the device tab. You also get to access the watch face store. So each watch comes with a set of watch faces specifically for that device. But then in the watch face store, you can go through, there's a lot of free ones, as well as paid options in there to find a watch face that works perfect for you, and you can customize it on your watch. Outside of that, the app is pretty simple to use. There's not a whole lot going on in terms of things you have to mess with daily. Once you get your watch set up and your notifications dialed in, unless you're downloading apps or download a new watch face to the device itself, you're largely going to stay on the home page checking out what you've got going on in your health metrics. Maybe go and check out sleep or a coach to or Zepp Coach or Aura AI to kind of see where you're at on your training plan. So when we compare these two watches directly, there's obviously a lot of similarities. They share a lot of the same DNA. You're running the same operating system. They've got similar specs as far as what you get in terms of the case material. Obviously, Active 2 is a little more durable than stainless steel because with it being the active watch with more workout tracking, you're likely going to be in more places or doing more activities where it can get damaged. But they both have the tempered glass screen cover on it, unless you do the premium where you get the sapphire glass on the Active 2. Both come with a silicone band, both have 2 buttons, both have mics and speakers, both have the same tracking sensor. Now, if you're looking for a watch that's going to be specifically geared towards activities, I would probably go with the Active 2 because the durability of the case is going to be helpful, as well as the additional workouts that it can track, and the differences in algorithm for calculating different bits of data that it captures through those sensors. Specifically, if you are tracking your menstrual cycle and hormones, this is going to be a better fit for that because it's going to have more attuned for those types of metrics that it's going to be trying to gather for you. Same apps you can download to it. So you're really talking about a difference between these two watches. The $20, if it's a style preference, you can get this one in a rectangle shape if you like that better on the BIP 6. But outside of that, it's going to be a difference in what you're going to be doing with the watch. So that's what you're going to look at. If you're going to want something a little more durable, as I keep dropping this one, if you want something a little more durable, that's going to track more workouts, go with the Active 6 because it's going to get you that for a little $20 more. With the BIP 6, sorry, Active 2, BIP 6. With the BIP 6, you get more color options. So you only get silver with this. You do have a different in color bands you can go with it. It does just use a 20 millimeter band on this, whereas the BIP 6 is 22. But the BIP 6 comes in 3 different case colors and has 5 different watch strap options. So if that's a thing that you're worried about, you can check that out for there. But outside of that, Amazfit BIP 6, Active 2, both great watches. $20 difference between the two really is going to dial in what your needs are and how you plan on using the watch and what you want from it. But I highly recommend both of these watches. Check these out. I've got more coming from Amazfit as well as a bunch of other brands. They're going to cover a lot of different areas across consumer technology as well as outdoors and fun stuff out there. So stick around. Thanks for watching.